The Welcome to the Show podcast is independently produced by me, CT, and Manny Gomez. Help people find our show by taking 2 minutes to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? It's the Welcome to the Show podcast. CT.
What's going on, man?
Life is good, man. Life is really good. As a Yankees fan, that is. How are you?
I'm good, man, because sports give and sports take away. You know, I think it's sad for me to say this, but I think the Red Sox are done, man.
You think?
Yeah, yesterday kind of did it for me, but
I think there's a glimmer. Like, there's a little bit of hope. Like, if you win tonight.
Oh yeah, there's always hope until we're on.
Yeah, there's a little bit of hope, but if you lose tonight, I think that's it. You're done for sure.
Yeah, no, man. As long as we're not eliminated, numbers wise, as long as there's still a chance. Obviously, there's still a chance, but I think it's time for me to dedicate my emotions and brain power to my second family or third family, the Buffalo Bills.
Ah, yuck.
And they won yesterday,
they
1
did.
o'clock.
They did.
3 o'clock, clockish.
So word on the street is that you started a game this weekend for the Corozo Gold Sox, an amateur baseball team.
Yeah. So we took a season off, which was this summer season, and we're back to reclaim the fall throne. So I think we won it in 2017, I think, in the fall, and we're back, man.
Nice.
So, but we split doubleheader every Sunday, and we split 1-1. What can I say, man? You have these amateur umpires, and then we expect them to be good. You know what I'm saying, Manny? Like, Can we really get mad at these umpires that we play with in these independent leagues where, the age range is like anyone that just puts up the deposit, 18 to 50-year-old can just join this league and play?
I understand. You should get robo-umps, man. You guys should call for it.
Yeah, that would be insane. And I also I'd be down for that. I'd put up an extra couple $100 to play with robo-umps. If all the calls would turn out to be right, I'd actually probably put up a little more money for that. Yeah.
Were there any ejections? Did somebody get tossed?
No, and that's the funny thing, right? Because these umps can eject anybody. Technically, I've seen them eject one fan or one guy that was sitting in the bench of the opposing team that we were playing once, but he wouldn't stop. He really would not stop. It was 10 straight minutes of just nonstop him talking smack to the ump or whatever. And the ump threw him out, and the ump said, "You have to go, or else your team will forfeit." And you're not even a part of the team, but we'll make them forfeit. So he had to leave. So I'm some things were said yesterday in our game, and I'm surprised some people didn't get ejected. These umps have a larger, they have more patience than professionals.
It's kind of funny because in these amateur leagues, there's nobody there to you could absolutely go up to the umpire and just deck them. You know what I mean? Nothing's gonna happen technically.
And technically, the ump can go up and deck you as well because
exactly.
we I think in every game that I've ever played in high school till yesterday, the umps were in some way disrespected, verbally, by somebody. And these are just regular guys, we don't really. What can we expect, honestly, though? What kind of ump expertise are we gonna expect in these leagues?
Well, what are you gonna do, man? Did you win your start?
Yeah, I actually pitched. Yeah, man, 7 innings. Never done that ever in my life.
Wow. How does your arm feel today?
It feels like it's not there. It's crazy. In so much. All the pain is just merging as to one numbing feeling.
Wow. Nice. All right. So, let's get on to the show.
Oh, yes. Guys, today I'm leading the sports episode. We're going to start with a little bit of baseball talk, but a good chunk of this episode is going to be mostly NFL related. in case you live under a rock, as my good co-host Manny would always say, the NFL was on fire this weekend, and so much so that I didn't see. Well, actually, let me ask Manny. Manny, did you notice anything strange about this weekend at all?
In terms of the NFL,
no, just in sports in general as a whole.
Well, the Antonio Brown story took over the world. So that just like, I don't know. I just have so much to say about the Antonio Brown stuff, but I'm just gonna let you take it away, and then I'll throw in my 2 cents. Yeah,
we're definitely gonna get into that Antonio Brown stuff, but let me tell you what I noticed about this weekend. There was no grabbing NBA headline at all to be found. There's one thing. Obviously, they were keeping track of the Olympics, I guess, whatever's going on, which I could care less about.
Who cares?
Because it's like, seriously. But when I mean like headlines, I mean like, oh, this player said this player said that. The only thing that I saw that came across my phone was the Derrick Rose saying something about Phil Jackson and Carmelo Anthony. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Slow day for the NBA office.
Word. They banned, I'm looking through Bleacher Report right now, they banned the ninja style headband.
Ooh.
That Jimmy Butler used to wear that.
I don't even know what that is.
It's literally like I'm gonna need some Spanish here. Sometimes when you're multilingual, there's words that you only know in Spanish and there's words that you only know in English. This one I only know in Spanish. It's like a paño that he has fucking just tied around and it's like dangling in the bottom.
I get you. I get you. It dangles. Yeah, it dangles. I get it.
You got some dangles in there. Okay. You're right. No, you're right. I'm looking through Bleacher Report right now and they have a story about Dennis Rodman. That's how slow the NBA has been.
I see Dennis Rodman has like a 30 for 30 coming out.
I mean, he has a pretty interesting story, but fuck, man, the guy is insane. Like, why Dennis Rodman? Like, can we learn more about maybe MJ a little bit, or can we delve into the life and times of Patrick Ewing or something like that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, I think there's enough MJ content out there.
Yeah,
Or
can we learn a little bit more about I don't know, like David Robert, what's his name? Fucking David Robinson. David Robinson. He was with the Spurs for a while.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the most physically jacked NBA players I think that I've ever seen. That guy.
Nothing but muscle on that body.
Yeah, man. Can we learn a little bit more about the glove, Gary Payton?
The glove, yeah. Little Sean Kemp. He had like 20 kids or something.
Can we get some Sean Kemp, aka the Dwight Howard of the 90s?
Yeah, right. With the dunks. That's all he was known for. The dunks.
Yeah, all right, man.
Muggsy Bogues.
I love the 90s.
Is he really 5'3"?
I love Space Jam.
Me too.
That was a good movie at the time. Movie. McDonald's had a crazy promo for Space Jam. I don't know if you remember it.
No, I don't remember it.
Well, it was crazy, man. We were all getting like stuffed animals, like the size of like bigger than our hands. Like, come on, when will you ever go to a fast food chain and get like a stuffed animal bigger than like
right? And I'm convinced, man. I'm convinced not to get too deep into our family history, but I'm convinced that our family just had no idea what the fuck they were putting in our bodies when we would go to McDonald's and shit back in the day.
Yeah, and I also think McDonald's was cleaner back then. Do you remember when McDonald's came out with the promo like, guess what, guys? Like, our chicken nuggets are now with white meat. You remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
And I like, what was it? And I think McDonald's did, like, you start thinking, like, it wasn't white meat. It's funny because I think it was kind of healthier back then, only compared to what McDonald's makes me feel like now. That again, could just be a metabolism thing.
It could be metabolism, yeah.
McDonald's was way better back then, man. Like, it didn't used to have this kind of effect on me back then.
By the way, McDonald's, if you want to throw a sponsorship this way, we'll blow your shit up. We'll do it.
All right, man. I've been trying to transition to baseball talk. And this is why I can't lead these episodes, because I have no idea how to do it. So we're just going to jump into it. First topic of the day, baseball talk. MLB. Still going strong. A couple more weeks till playoffs. Can't wait. Then it'll get the feeling back, because like we mentioned in our last episode, my fantasy baseball team got eliminated. So my playoffs, in that sense.
So did mine.
Ended early. Yeah. I feel free, man. Anyways. First topic today: Christian Yelich, Wonder Boy, records a 40-30 season and becomes the 10th player in MLB history to do so. The last player was his teammate Ryan Braun. Manny,
Yo.
I'm gonna ask something that I think I already know the answer to, depending, based off how I think you think. Can Yelich do 40-40?
I don't know. I think that there's not enough time. I'm thinking if I break this down statistically, right? The MLB season started in April. So you have April, May, June, July, August, September, August, 5 months. In 5 months, he stole 30 bags. That's about 6 a month. He's going to have to outpace that in order to get there. And not only that, the Brewers are not in the wild card yet. They're behind, but I think it's only by like 2 games or something, maybe 1 game, 1.5 games. I'm looking right now. 2 games back. So I wouldn't be fucking around with trying to get 40-40, but I wouldn't be surprised. Well, and I don't think that he's the kind of player that wants to play for the stats. I think he wants to win.
Yeah.
However, if it was me, I think I'd try to do it.
I would try to do it too, man. I would try to do it too. Let's see what Braun's final numbers were that season where he did 40-30. Just 41 home runs and 30 stolen bases evenly.
Wow, that's crazy.
Came second MVP that year.
Ronald Acuna is close to 40-42. He has 37 home runs and 34 stolen bases. I think he has a better chance to do it than
definitely.
Than Yelich. But I don't think Yelich is going to do it. That's going to be my guess.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do it either, but my God, man, is this guy, are we officially ready to crown him like second to Mike Trout in the league? Are we officially going to do that?
I think, you have to call him the National League's Mike Trout at this point.
Who's coming in hot at third? I think I have an answer.
I think if Acuna can keep this up in a few more, 1 or 2 more seasons, I think he's the next Mike Trout.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Acuna would be the guy that I'm not saying these guys are like the best. I think Trout's the best hitter, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think there's better hitters, maybe. I think you could find, maybe you could find a better Acuna or something. But I'm saying like all around 5-tool player, I think, Then again, would Yelich be considered 5-tool?
He's a good fielder. He steals bags. He strikes out a lot. He leads. No, that's Acuna. Never mind. Yeah, I think so. I think he's a 5-tool player.
Yeah, so that's like more the category that I'm thinking of,
Yeah. And just this is kind of related, but not like because we're seeing inflated numbers clearly. Baseball can't go back to the old baseballs anymore. They have to stay with this at this point. People are gonna get fucked up by this. If you go back to the old baseballs, and the sport goes through what happened in the early 2000s after the steroid era, you're gonna lose a lot of fans. So you got to just stick with this at this point. Pretend like it's, the NBA adding a 3-point line in the 80s, and just keep going with it. Because it still takes a lot of skill to hit a home run, and you see a lot of players like Ketel Marte, amazing by the way. He's hitting way more home runs than he ever has. Like I think he's hit more home runs this season than he did in his previous 5 seasons combined.
Yeah.
But by the same token, look at Aaron Judge. Like, yes, he's been on a tear lately. He slowed down again last week, but you'd think he'd have like 40, 45 home runs at this point. He doesn't. So it's still not as easy as people think to hit a home run. That's and
real quick though, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen in the next 3 to 5 years, right? Because like last year, I think the year before last year, we were joking about the balls being juiced. Last year, we were convinced. This year, we're like beyond the reasonable doubt where we think the balls are juiced.
For sure.
And what we're basically seeing is like there's players emerging as 30 home run hitters, something that was very considered power hitter territory before, right? And also teams are breaking their team records of home runs in a season, and there's still like a month left of baseball. Teams were breaking their records, a month ago, whatever. So I'm curious to see like what the next 3 to 5 years are gonna look like, because if this is a trend that's gonna keep rising, then maybe it's not so much the juiced baseballs, but just the way hitters are aiming now. Like you've always said with the launch angle and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've talked about all the factors that contribute to the increase of home runs. I think there's no doubt that the ball's different because they changed the balls in the minor leagues to the big league balls, and their home runs have skyrocketed. So that goes to prove that there is a difference in the ball, but there's also warmer temperatures that contributes to the air's less or more dense. Wait, more dense?
You know what? One day we're gonna have to scientifically research this because I know there's a report out there. What is better for hitting home runs, cold or hot air? Because my brain, it makes more sense that it'd be in cold air.
Well, what they say is in hot air, the air is more dense, and all the molecules in the air or whatever contributes to the ball staying up in the air for longer. But it's not like it's like when people describe it that way, it sounds like you're saying that the ball's just floating around like on top of all these molecules. It probably like contributes to another. I don't know. Again, this isn't scientific. This is pulling this number out of my ass. But it might be contributing to another 6 inches or something of distance. What was it when we talked to that guy Nathan? He said that the ball travels like 2 feet further now or something like that.
Yeah.
So
but that was due to the change of what was in the ball that they found, right?
Right.
Because of the density of the ball or something. I don't remember. That's a good episode. We should pull that one back.
Yeah, that's true. So you have that. You have the launch angle. People are swinging up more. You have people are changing their swings altogether. Like Josh Donaldson has taken over baseball with his swing, basically. I watched a video on Instagram, and they showed this kid hitting bombs. He must have been like 10 years old. And he didn't have a Josh Donaldson batting stance or a Justin Turner batting stance, but you can see that he's copying them. He's mimicking them. Like it was about leaning back and doing that like that exaggerated leg kick. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think that's taking over the game too. And I think that generates more power. Like you're seeing higher exit velocities. Like I can't imagine that just switching that ball contributed to that much change in the exit velocity among teams. You know what I mean? I think there's just a lot of factors going into it.
It's just crazy that all this is happening at the same time.
Right.
So it's like maybe MLB always had this. Man, play the conspiracy theory music.
I don't have it, man.
Well, fuck it. Welcome to... Anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe the MLB had this plan all along since the 90s, since before steroids. They're like, listen, if this sport ever gets boring and people are choosing to watch naked people in the jungle over baseball. Bum, bum, bum. we're gonna unleash these juiced baseballs. Yeah. All right. And here's the perfect time: the emergence of the launch angle and the launch angle swing or maple wood bats or something. I don't know, man.
I have a question
and now
for you.
These baseballs are out there. Now they can't trace the source. And they were like, and by that time, global warming is going to be at an all-time high.
Yeah, baseball news. Maybe they're the ones contributing to it.
Yeah. Anyways, man, what?
I'm going to steer the ship right on back to that Christian Yelich conversation because I did take us away for a while. I'm sorry, man. I apologize.
Hey.
I have a question. Who is your NL MVP? I'm going to give you 4 options. You have Christian Yelich, clearly, Cody Bellinger, Anthony Rendon, and I'm throwing Ketel Marte's name in the hat too. You go
Anthony Rendon. I'm not even gonna look at the numbers. It's just the Nats, man. The Nats got me paying attention.
They're a good team.
They're a really good team, man. And Anthony Rendon is putting up a monstrous season.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It's probably gonna be Yelich.
I think Yelich is having the best calendar year. Like I saw somebody go back to like 161 games. In his last 161 games, he's hit like 61 home runs. Has I don't know how many freaking RBIs. He's hitting like 350. You know what I mean? Like unbelievable numbers. But I think that this season, Yelich has, if you're looking at F-WAR, Yelich has a better WAR than anybody in the National League. So if a voter's going to look at that, then it's definitely Yelich. But the other day, I split it from first half to second half. In the second half, it's Rendon that's taken over. And if the Nats make it to the postseason, there's no doubt that Anthony Rendon played a massive role in that happening. And I think he deserves it, man. I think he's carried that team. And he's so quiet. You never hear anybody talking about this guy.
Yeah, and to be honest, it kind of sucks. Like we all, I think we just had the Nats written off because Bryce Harper left. And Bryce Harper was like the face of that team for so long. But like, it's the same thing with Anthony Rendon. I feel like we paid it. We all know Anthony Rendon is a beast. But I guess because Harper's not there, we watched less games or something. I don't know. I mean, did we like Harper that much that we only paid attention to the Nats? Right. Like, I love Max Scherzer. Like,
yeah, I think that if you play fantasy baseball, you knew that Anthony Rendon was a beast. But other than that, if you didn't play any fantasy baseball or you don't FanDuel or any of that shit, you don't even know and somebody said Anthony Rendon, you probably don't even know who it is. And you don't live in DC, you know what I mean? Like if you're outside of the DC area, amazing.
Speaking of guys that are quiet and you never really hear about them, like remember when Trout wasn't doing enough to, show his face around and stuff? Do you notice how like that changed this season?
He was like a lot now, yeah.
Yeah, he was in like the Let the Kids Play commercial, which was Griffey's commercial last year. He's in a commercial where they're like, people say I'm the greatest of all time or something, and he's like, I just want to play. I don't even know what that commercial's about. I guess it's about baseball, but it was kind of serious. Like, I don't know. He was in that commercial where he was like dancing disco. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No, I haven't seen. That's Mike Trout?
Yeah, it was Mike. It was either Mike Trout or Andrew Luck, one of them. They were like dancing disco. It was like a disco. It might have been both of them, actually. I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who gets the credit for all that stuff or what. But it seems like right after he signed that contract, that extension, maybe somewhere in that contract is like, you better start doing some more commercials or something.
Baseball's behind all of this.
Oh man, I'm just ripping it with the conspiracy theories today.
Yeah.
All right. We spoke about Christian Yelich.
Sure did.
Check. All right. Let's talk about another. Baseball phenom, Gerrit. I gotta get through this, man, because the NFL is gonna take like a whole hour to talk about. Let's get through this real quick, man. All right, Gerrit Cole, another baseball phenom, becomes the second pitcher in baseball history to have 3 consecutive starts where he strikes out 14 or more batters. The only other starter to do that is Pedro Martinez.
Wow,
Hall of Famer, man. It's crazy. And let's see here. 6 games of at least 10 strikeouts in a season with no walks. That's tied for the single season record. I have a feeling he's going to do it again before the season's over.
He has 281 strikeouts. Do you think he reaches 300?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. 13.7 strikeouts per 9. That's the highest in baseball. He has a sub-1 whip. He has a 2.73 ERA. They have the Yankees. I'm sorry. I'm going to turn this about the Yankees, guys. Get ready. Here it comes. The Yankees have to sign this guy in the offseason.
What kind of contract is he getting?
He's getting a monster. He's 28 years old. Like, just go back in recent memory. Pitchers that are 28, 29 years old coming into free agency. Usually people 5 or 6 years ago, you kind of were hands off about it a little bit. You're not sure what's going to happen. But we have some prime examples of pitchers at this age pitching the way he's pitching that continue to dominate the sport today. I'm talking about Max Scherzer. I'm talking about Justin Verlander. Clayton Kershaw is, still kind of young, but I'm talking about Clayton Kershaw. Pitchers like this, I feel like he can't get better than this. He could get better than this. Who knows? But I'm guessing this is who he's going to be for a while. So the Yankees better get him. That's all I'm saying. If not, I'm becoming a Red Sox fan. Just kidding.
I think Gerrit Cole is going to be the highest paid pitcher before next season.
He's a free agent. He's gonna be the highest paid pitcher, I think.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be the highest paid pitcher. I don't think the Yankees are gonna be the team to give it to him. Sorry. I'm sorry, but good news for you, man. The Red Sox aren't gonna give him that money.
That's a good point. It's a great point.
So there you go, man. We high five it. Let's see here. I was gonna say, do you think he deserves a Cy Young? But I think Verlander's still in the lead for that.
Yeah, it's between him and Verlander for sure. And by the way, just going back to his performance, how he's definitely turned into a different kind of pitcher with the Astros. But if you go back, he's had seasons close to this before. Like in 2015 with the Pittsburgh Pirates, he pitched to a 2.60 ERA in 32 starts and had a 1.09 whip. He struck out 202 batters. So he's shown this level of potential before. And then he had a weak season in 2017, and that's when they traded him in that offseason. But anyway, so I think that he's shown flashes of this, and now it's 2 consecutive seasons of this level of performance. I feel confident that he's going to be, a decent pitcher moving forward. So any team, of course, I'm a Yankees fan, so I want my team to get him. But I think he's going to get paid, and whoever gets him is going to be lucky to have him.
Nice, man.
Yeah, man. Now I'm going to cry in a corner.
All right, well, Manny gets it all together. I'm going to keep it moving here. Somebody has to keep the show flowing. So just a quick injury update as far as big names in the sport go. Bryce Harper wasn't in the lineup to start Sunday, but I think he ended up pinch hitting or something because I did see a highlight of him. Yeah, but Bryce Harper was out, yeah. Trout, I think, is day-to-day. Not sure. Javi Baez might be.
Always.
Javi Baez is probably done for the season.
That sucks.
So that really sucks. And Chris Bryant's another one, too. And Addison Russell. So, Manny, the question is, are the Cubs done? What do you think?
I think the Cubs are done. I think, and Kimbrel's out too. Again, he's in the IL.
Crazy.
And he sucked this season, by the way. Like, fuck, what the hell?
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. We'll get into that a little bit later as well. But go ahead, continue.
So, I think they're done. And then I have a question for your question. Do you think the Diamondbacks are going to be the team that takes it? And by the way, Diamondbacks, before you answer that, they trade away Paul Goldschmidt. They traded away Zach Greinke, probably their 2 best players. Where would they be today if they had retained both of those players?
Damn, man, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt, did Paul Goldschmidt ever turn the season around to the point that he's like, Paul Goldschmidt still, or are we?
He got hot for a minute there.
Against you.
Yeah, like always. But I'm not sure if he ever got it back together. I mean, either way, he has 29 home runs, 80 RBIs. He still has a 341 on base. And St. Louis isn't the same as Arizona in terms of hitting.
You're right. So, that's crazy, man. That's good. But I mean, then again, look at what the Dodgers have done.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they still be like a wild card team?
Yeah, that's true. So no, when I look at the wild card standings, for me, I think Arizona is going to get up there, and I think because I just don't trust the Brewers. I don't think they have the pitching, and haters look human this year.
Yeah.
The Phillies, I don't trust in the Phillies. The Mets, I think they're done. So I think it's Arizona. I think Arizona is going to overtake them.
Yeah. I think the Mets are done. Philly, I just don't believe in. Yeah, I think it's going to be Arizona.
Fire Kepler.
And obviously, what?
Fire Kepler. Gabe Kepler.
I wish we can get Gabe Kepler on this show. Like, if he got fired and he's like, I'm looking for work, but hey, man, we'll pay you a little something. We'll pay you the earnings off this episode.
Yeah, man.
To come on our podcast.
Well, not only that, but a story came out like 2 weeks ago that Mike Scioscia said that he wants to manage the Phillies. He wants that job. So if you have Mike Scioscia wants to manage your team, I don't think you could say no to that.
I'm sorry, man, but do you ever get tired of baseball? Like, Mike Scioscia, you were the manager of the Angels
for like 20 years.
Yeah, you got 1 World Series out of it. Like, don't you want to go watch your grandson play like
right?
little league or something?
And he played baseball. I think he was a catcher or something in baseball for a while.
Yeah, man. I think as much as I've always dreamt about being a professional athlete, I think mentally I was never meant to endure that. To be in that sport 24/7. Yeah. And Mike Scioscia's retired 3 times already at this point. I'm talking about as a player, then as a manager, whatever. Yeah. And to still want to be a part of the game, I mean, man, like Don Mattingly down in Miami, like, when is he gonna hang it up? Like,
oh man.
Anyways, man, this was about the Cubs being done.
Sorry, I do think they're done.
And you know what? I don't think the Cubs were ever. I never thought the Cubs were going anywhere because it was in July, I think. They were tied with the Marlins for the worst away record.
No
Can
way.
you
I
believe
didn't know
that?
that. That's a good
It was
stat.
some crazy shit like that. And I'm just like, man, and just Cubs don't have like that fire. Like I feel like you only really hear about Javi Baez when it comes to like that spice that the Cubs had at that year when they went on the run and stuff. So I don't know.
Holy shit, you're right, man. The Cubs have a 29-42 away record.
Yeah, they were horrible. That's why that sweep that they put on the Mets was I think it was crazy. Like it was just so poetic how like the Mets fell out of it and got swept by the Cubs at home.
That's crazy. Wow.
Because the Cubs suck away.
Yeah. Crazy town. Yeah, I think they're done. Javi Baez he was so good this year. Losing him is huge. I didn't even know that Chris Bryant was gone.
Yeah, I'm trying to look into that because I saw it on a headline, of all these injured players, but imagine all he had was like a stomach pain or like maybe he had to go await the birth. Barking knee sidelines Chris Bryant again raises questions about status down the stretch. I don't know, man. I could see Chris Bryant being dealt in the offseason.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad move. If they don't make the postseason, it wouldn't be a bad move. I don't think Joe Madden's coming back. Because it sounds like him and what the fuck is a GM's name? He was with the Red Sox. Theo Epstein. Him and Theo Epstein apparently are, fighting or whatever. Like little bitches.
Wow.
So yeah, I think the Cubs might be done for a while. That's my guess.
Yeah, I keep hearing rumors about Syndergaard being swapped for Chris Bryant, and now both of these guys, which is the headline I meant to add, Syndergaard coming at the GM. We'll get into that right after this, but
back after this.
Yeah, it's funny how both of these guys now, now Chris Bryant's like he keeps having these injury problems. And now Syndergaard is in the news for his thing. So you never know, man.
You never know. Syndergaard.
All right,
I think he would suck in Wrigley, by the way. He'd give up a lot of home runs.
All right, let's stick with the Syndergaard talk because I think I know where this is going. Manny wants Syndergaard to go to the Yankees.
I just want any starting pitcher to go. I want a starting pitcher that's under 30 years old and that can strike out a lot of people on the Yankees. That's what I want. I'm sick of the J-Haps, I love you, CC, but I'm CC, like, thank you, but bye now. And we need younger pitchers, man. Like the youth movement is alive in New York, in New York, except for the starting rotation. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but what do you think about this whole Syndergaard thing, though? Him going up to the GM and basically complaining about AJ Ramos.
I think that's normal. Like Greg Maddux had his own personal catcher. There were pitchers that did, like with the Yankees. I think it was Mike Mussina didn't like pitching to Jorge Posada. The problem is that I believe that Jacob deGrom doesn't like pitching to him either. So if that's the case, you can't take Ramos out of your lineup, twice through a rotation. His bat is too important to that team, especially when you're in a playoff run. So one of those pitchers is going to have to suck it up, and unfortunately, he's going to have to be Syndergaard because DeGrom is, DeGrom could be the Cy Young this year again in the National League. He's been that good. Yeah. So suck it up, Thor. Or just come to New York. Come to the Yankees.
Suck it up. And you know what? I would hope to find out that he had Ramos in that room with him while he said that, because I would be like pissed off if I'm AJ Ramos and I found this out like through the grapevine or something like that. I'm like, but if you don't like pitching to me, whatever, man. Like, what do you want me to do about it? We play for the National League.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, exactly.
I get paid to hit.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking my money away
with your long hair, bitch ass.
It's your perfect wannabe Avenger. How dare the Mets just take these superhero names as if they're superheroes? What kind of superheroes do you know that go through embarrassment like that every season?
Right? Imagine.
Come on, man. Trout needs a superhero nickname. There's nothing he can do to mess up his image.
By the way, if Mike Trout was a superhero, who would he be?
I'd have to say Superman. Except
right?
but what's his weakness?
I don't know. I was gonna say he would be the Incredible Hulk, but like in between Bruce Banner and if the Incredible Hulk got stuck in between the Hulk and Bruce Banner. Like midway through, the fucking shit malfunctions, and he's just like, "Fuck, I'm just like kind of big, but not, not all the way." That's what he looks like to me. His muscles are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, man, he might be on some shit.
Maybe.
We think.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was Noah Syndergaard. I wanted to originally keep it moving from the Cubs talk to just teams around the league that are still in the hunt for the playoffs. Obviously, we're not going to talk about all the teams, but as of yesterday, today's Monday, you guys will be hearing this tomorrow. Dodgers magic number down to 2.
Nice.
So they, compared to the year that they went to the World Series where they had the best stretch, I think, what was it, like for the first 70 games or whatever, then they had the next worst stretch of the next 20 games. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that year? That was like 2 years ago.
Yes.
They haven't seemed to come across that yet. And could this be the Dodgers' year to finally win it all?
I don't know. I feel like the National League sucks this year, man. Like the only real team that has been competitive from beginning to end in the National League, I think, has been the Braves. Other than that, this has been a cakewalk for the Dodgers.
It has been, yeah.
And I think that if you clinch this early, I'm of the believer, and the Yankees are close to clinching too. I think they're only I think it's like 6 games to clinch a playoff spot or something.
Yeah.
Or it's not 6. Their magic number is 6, so they could clinch anytime this week, basically. I'm of the believer that if you clinch too soon, it could work against you because you have that playoff spot secured. You're not playing for anything. You kind of take it easy. You're not riding that wave into the postseason. I always feel like the team that wins it all is always that team that's just hot. They're hot, going into it. Like the Red Sox last year, they won 108 games, but it took them until the final weekend to clinch that playoff spot. Not the final weekend, like the last 1 or 2 series prior to the end of the season. So they had to keep it going. They had to keep that energy up. But I feel like once you let your guard down a little bit, shit can go wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the year that the Astros won it. I remember thinking that the Yankees were that hot team, right?
And they were. I mean, did you expect them to make it to Game 7 of the? I didn't expect them to make it to Game 7 of the ALCS, and they could have won that series.
Yeah, I didn't expect it, but that year had a lot of it just had a lot of BS.
All right, easy now. All right, take it easy. Fuck.
But no, you're right though. The team that enters the playoffs the hottest could be the Rays, could be the wild card. It probably is going to be the wild card team because they're off that, having to maintain or sustain that dominance of at least being above at the first wild card for that all last month, whatever. God, I butchered that sentence.
They have to keep their energy up. And the Rays, by the way.
They have to keep their energy more longer than teams that clinch it, like Manny was just saying. So you always got to be wary of those wild card teams. But of course, any wild card team that comes out this year, not the Red Sox, I don't see them beating the Yankees in the first round. So I would be shocked. I'd be shocked if the Yankees don't go to the ALCS if they face Oakland or the Twins,
By the same token, the teams that are closest to clinching, the Astros, Yankees, and Dodgers, not in that order, they could also use a breather too. Like a pitcher like Clayton Kershaw, who gets hurt regularly, although he pitched pretty much the whole season this year. He could probably use a couple, skip starts or whatever. The Yankees could use building up Severino's arm, giving Tanaka a rest or something. The Astros could use, they dealt with some injury with Altuve, Carlos Correa. Justin Verlander's not getting any younger, although you couldn't tell by the way he's pitching. But yeah, I think energy is very important. So, and by the way, I'm afraid of the Rays because Glasnow is back now, although he didn't do that well on Sunday. So, but they have a legit starter in their rotation. Austin Meadows is heating up again, and they're the kind of team that can outsmart you. So, I don't want to face them because they could sneak through.
Rays coming off a 9-1 homestand, and they're at the top of the wild card. So, and yeah, you're right. Glasnow came back, and I keep seeing this thing. He hit 100 miles per hour on the radar gun. Jesus Christ. What when will it end with these animals? But and also the Astros beat the Mariners 21-1.
Insane.
Yesterday. Club record 11 doubles. Every position player had a hit and scored a run in that game.
That's crazy.
I think baseball wants us to think that the Astros and the Dodgers are, going to the World Series. I don't think it's going to be that easy. There's going to be some crazy storyline. I don't know if the Rays are going to. Oh, we still don't know who would face the wild card team.
All I know is if things go as planned up to the championship series, so the top wild card team wins, and let's say so the Nationals win, and say everything goes as planned all the way up to the LCS, and it should end up being Braves Dodgers in the NL, and it should end up being Yankees Astros in the AL. Those two championship series are going to be fucking amazing, I think, because those are four incredible teams. Should be competitive. I can't see any of those teams laying down and just getting swept.
Yeah,
that's gonna be cool. I can't wait for baseball postseason, man. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Not even kidding. There's goosebumps, ladies and gentlemen. We got goosebumps.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy because it's gonna be like football on Sundays, but then baseball playoffs sprinkled throughout the week.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Let's go Bills.
Well, I almost gave you a woo, but taking it back.
All right. I wanted to dedicate some time to the Red Sox versus the Yankees. They played throughout the weekend. They're playing today.
Let's go.
What's it looking like right now?
Oh, nothing happened. I'm just saying let's go about the Red Sox Yankees talk.
Oh.
It's zip. E-Rod. By the way, can I say something about Eduardo Rodriguez and Eduardo Rodriguez?
Speak your business.
I gotta say, man, he has the most run support in baseball this year and everything. And I sometimes take away from him because of that. But he's been the most steady pitcher you guys have had all year.
Yeah, kind of like a rock.
He's been a rock, man. 3.81 ERA, 17-5 record. He hasn't been bad. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad.
Thank you, man.
I could feel last year that when he would come up in the rotation, I could feel some nervousness on behalf of you Red Sox fans. I don't think you should feel that way anymore. I think you should feel like, okay, he could win us a game. Like he can do what needs to be done. I feel more confident with him over Porcello on the mound.
This year I would say that, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Say that.
Anything else you want to compliment the Red Sox about?
What else? I need more compliments on the Red Sox.
So I said this at the start of the episode that I think the Red Sox are done. And of course, they're not eliminated yet. They're still alive, but just really hard to root for a team like where you guys know if you guys pay attention to Major League Baseball, you pay attention to this podcast. It's really hard to root for a team that doesn't play well when they have to.
And the puzzling thing is that they're not that bad. They're not that bad of a team.
I know, but you at some point you just got to let go.
I agree,
but of the things you love.
This doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. I think the same way that we used to joke last season, like career seasons, career years, all that stuff about the Red Sox overachieving stuff. Maybe this is like the complete opposite of what that year was.
Underachieving?
Well, maybe not just underachieving, but maybe it's just something like no matter what, I can't ignore that the Yankees are having this historic season as well. Even if we did repeat or even if we did come back as we did last year, how do we know we'd still be in first place? We might still be battling for a wild card spot with the Rays. I don't know.
Yeah.
So whatever, man.
We won
last year. I'm not done. We won last. Oh, and I actually had things to talk about the rest of the game.
Get it off your chest, man. Go ahead.
Since I'm just venting here, I said at the beginning of the year that I can't expect these every year to be like last year, and that I was satisfied with last year, and I still am satisfied with last year, but would still would have been nice to be in it in October to have faith and hope that we could do it again.
Any chance you root for the Yankees in the postseason?
Why would I do that?
Just to support a brother. You know what I mean?
Nah, I'm not rooting for the Yankees, man.
Your father's a Yankees fan. Your brother's a Yankees fan. I'm a Yankees fan.
My dad hates some of the good players in the Yankees. Like he'll rip like Brett Gardner and not realize that he's turned into a power hitter.
Yeah, right. He's a beast, man.
And my dad used to hate Joe Girardi.
A lot of people did.
Yeah. But I'm not rooting for the Yankees. Go ahead.
You done, or do you need more time?
Yeah, that's all I had to say. I just had to remind people of something that I said in the beginning of the season.
So what puzzles me is that you have players underperforming and you have players that are having career years, which again, CT doesn't mean that you can't have a career year next year. For right now, as to this point, Rafi Devers is having the best year of his career. So he's having a career year. So give that to him, right? So anyway, what I'm trying to say is you have players that are underperforming, players that are performing better than they ever have before, and I feel like it's balancing out. So I don't understand the disparity, because the real difference is the bullpen got worse. But can the bullpen really cost you this many wins in a season? That doesn't make sense. Like, I think Mookie's having he's picked it up big time. He's having a phenomenal year. JD has picked it up. He's having a phenomenal year. Xander's having the best year of his career. Devers is having the best year of his career. And then you have players that are falling off a little bit. Like, I think JBJ is falling off a little bit again this year offensively. I might be wrong. You gave Steve Pearce that extension. He hasn't really played. Chris Sale has underperformed. But then again, you have Eduardo Rodriguez has pitched better. David Price has pitched better. So I feel like people are picking up the slack. So the only difference for me is the bullpen, and I can't imagine that this is how. I don't know. Like there's something missing here. Like I don't know if it's Cora. I don't know if it's the staff. I don't know if it's the players got too comfortable after winning that World Series, so they're not really, they're not waking up for games and shit. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know what it is. It doesn't make any sense. But I still think that this team is dangerous. I still think that if they got into the postseason, they can make some noise.
Yeah, and again, like I said before, even if we did come back like we did last year, if everything's playing out the way it was, we'd still probably wouldn't be in first place. We don't know that, whatever. But I think what really killed us in terms of this wild card hunt was like Chris Sale and David Price going down around the same time. But yeah. not that David Price was dominating before, but still, I'd rather have David Price on the mound than what we have, and I'd rather have Chris Sale on the mound than anybody else that we have. And Chris Sale was starting to pitch a little bit better towards the end there. So
Chris Sale was having, by Chris Sale standards, he wasn't having a good year. But by Major League pitcher standards, he was still having an above average, like a way above average season, I think.
Yeah.
He had a 3.39 FIP. His ERA was a whole run higher. He had a 1.086 WHIP. That's for me, that's elite level. He had 218 strikeouts. It was his home runs. His home runs were up. He was giving up a lot of hits. He was putting too many people. For him, again, he was putting too many people on base, and then giving up home runs. But I would still rather see Chris Sale on the mound than any other pitcher. That, you know what I mean? If I'm the Red Sox, I would still have that confidence because he showed flashes this year of dominance. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Me neither, man. And here we go with more Red Sox news. They fire Dombrowski less than a year after winning the World Series. We probably should have led with that headline, but we're the Welcome to the Show podcast. We kind of just do our own thing.
Yeah, that's right. We don't follow rules here. Fuck that shit.
So, man, I think you have an opinion about this, and I have a different one. So
I think that we both have the same opinion. I think that I understand the firing. It probably doesn't offend you as much as it offends. Doesn't offend me as much as it. Doesn't offend me as much as it probably offends you. Like,
well, go ahead.
Let me just get my points out of the way, and then. So if it were me, if I owned the Red Sox, if I was a billionaire and I owned the Boston Red Sox, I don't think that I could have fired Dombrowski, considering that since he was hired, they won 3 straight division titles, 2016, 2017, 2018. They won a World Series in 2018, had the best season in Red Sox history in 2018. I think that's enough to give him a longer leash. By the same token, he hasn't shown me, Dombrowski, in his entire career that he can build a team by being more fiscally conservative, not spending so much money, and building up a farm system. And they're in a position right now where they're kind of have to be forced to trade one of their big time players in order to try to rescue their salary and try to get some young players in the minors. And I think that Dombrowski has a lot to do with that. Now, the decision to promote Eddie Romero, who was their assistant GM, to the position that Dombrowski's in, that doesn't make sense to me, because Romero is the same guy who is responsible for the Red Sox violating international signing practices, which caused them to pay a $300,000 fine. They couldn't draft any international players in 2017, and they had to take 5 of their prospects and turn them into free agents. So he also damaged your farm system. So
wait a second, but he's officially taking over, or is this just temporary?
For now, it's temporary, but I've been reading stuff where people are praising the shit out of this guy, and I'm sure that he's good at his job. I'm sure that he knows. You know, they got Devers. You know, they know how to get players in the international market. Yohan Moncada, all that stuff. But you know, this guy is just as responsible for the position the Red Sox are in right now as Dombrowski is, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, and again, I understand why you like everything you're explaining to me about all the money that was spent and how we jeopardize our future because of it. It makes total sense why they did fire him. But as you also said, you know, we had a good run with him here.
Yeah. And
the guy can't spend money he doesn't have. So I think it would have been okay to let's see what he could have done with anything at all. You know, I'm pretty sure, like, with his back to the wall, he could have made something out of what was around. I mean, at the end of the day, he can't just sign a player blindly. You know, someone has to sign that check. So it's not like he was going to spend money regardless next season, or like, you know, I don't know. I feel like I would have been okay seeing things through for the next couple of years.
No, you're right. They didn't even give him a chance.
Yeah.
You're right.
No chance.
I'm with you.
And again, what's happening to the Red Sox this year, as we said, it's odd. It just doesn't even make sense. No. I understand, like, you know, it's like, I don't know, but maybe that's why we don't get paid to be GMs.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that's why we're here and they're in the position they're in. Who knows?
I don't know, man. I get it. I understand it, but I'm interested to see who they bring in the offseason, because I'm guessing they're going to hire somebody else. I wonder who it's going to be. It'd be funny to steal Epstein again. Yeah,
that'd be cool, man. You know what I wish I could see, though? Theo Epstein's, or anyone who's applying for the job. I wish I could see their resume and see what it says. Like, what could a resume say to inherit, like, GM, to be the GM of one of, like, baseball's most historic franchises? You know, like, what can you put on that resume? Like, you know what? I have a degree from, you know, whatever. And
you know what's kind of scary to me, if I were a Red Sox fan, what would scare me is, after that amazing season you guys had last year, the way that teams rebuild now. And I know that the Yankees got fortunate that they happen to have players who, let's be honest, like, nobody thought Aaron Judge was going to turn into this. I don't think people were talking about Gary Sanchez like he was an incredible hitter, but I don't think people thought he was this good of a hitter. So on and so forth. People didn't think that Didi was going to turn into this, and so on and so forth. The Yankees got fortunate in that regard. So our rebuild was very quick, and it was almost non-existent to a point. But the way teams rebuild nowadays, they're taking a page out of Lunau and the Astros book. It's tank. It's lose 100-plus games, draft players, international signings. I'd be afraid. If I were a Red Sox fan, I'd be afraid to see, you know, them go through like what the Astros did, what the Tigers are currently going through, what the Marlins are going through, you know, and so on and so forth. That would suck. I don't even know if I could even watch baseball.
Damn.
In a situation like that.
Well, I think we're going to be all right. And
I think you have enough good young players that shouldn't happen. But I think you're gonna need one of those miracles like you guys got when the Dodgers took Carl Crawford and Josh Beckett and all that salary.
Yeah, I agree that we're gonna have to go through some hard struggles. But we're Red Sox fans, man. We've been through it. We've been through the worst of the worst and the best of the best.
That's true. And you've seen the mountaintop. You're gonna be fine.
Yes, we've seen the greener side of the hilltop.
You're gonna be okay. You're the Boston Red Sox.
Yes, man. And honestly, I don't know what else to say on this subject. I had a note here. Red Sox have 21 pitchers on their roster. I heard on the radio today they used 23 pitchers in the 3 games that they've played the Yankees. Where has that gotten us?
I think they were trying to strengthen their weakness.
But you know what though? I think I heard somewhere that the Red Sox bullpen has like the second best ERA in baseball.
Yeah, but I think their conversion rate is one of the worst.
Oh.
So like that's the difference between last year and this year, because we were talking about the Red Sox bullpen last year too. And the way I remember describing it, especially in the postseason, is that they would bend like until that point right before shit was about to break down, and then they'd win the game. Like there was a couple games in the postseason against the Yankees where I thought fully the Yankees are coming back and we're going to win this. And it got to the point.
The game that we clinched it itself with Kimbrel.
Yeah, it got to the point where it was almost at a breaking point, and then he closed it, sealed the deal, game over, Red Sox win. And I feel like that happened a lot last year. And I think that's the difference. And I mean, it's looking like, in hindsight being 2020, it's looking like you guys made the right decision in not signing Kimbrel, because he sucks this year, man.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say too with this whole Dombrowski thing. Like, I read some people in the comments saying like, "Good, he didn't address the problems and stuff like that." But how was he supposed to address it? I don't know. He's the reason we're in this position because of all the money that we have players under, you know.
Yeah.
But then again, like now that we are in this position that got us the World Series last year, what was he supposed to do? I mean, remember what the trade deadline was like? I can't even remember the relief pitchers that moved, or what their impact has been since.
Yeah, there was a few relievers moved, but I don't think they've had that big of an impact.
Shane Green went to the Braves and lost his closer role.
Melanson got moved.
Melanson got moved. Yep, you're right. So again, and even starting pitching, the only pitcher that I could think of, Zach Greinke, probably would not have played for Boston if there was a trade to be made.
Right. And yeah, and we heard the stories that came out of that.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, Melanson's been asked too. He's 5.52 ERA in 17 games with the Braves. Yeah. So, CT, we're almost an hour in. We haven't even talked about baseball yet.
This is ridiculous, man. I can never lead an episode again. All right, let's move on to football. You know what? My fault, because I put baseball as the second thing, and I'm scrolling past, and I'm covering all the NFL. So now I'm scrolling back up, and here we are. The NFL recap for Week 1 happened over the weekend.
Sure did.
And it's happening now. There's games tonight.
There is.
But the biggest story before we get into the rest of the NFL, we're probably just going to focus mostly on this huge Antonio Brown story.